Hi everyone, my name is Becky with Scott Leroy Marketing, and today we are going to be doing our command overview. So we're just kind of doing a quick walkthrough of everything in command, what it offers, and all the different applets and things like that, and a lot of things that you'll be able to do through command. If you have any questions, please drop them in the chat as we go through. I will do my best to get those answered in real time. For the sake of time, I may save them for the end. This tends to be pretty fast paced, so I may have to save those questions for the end. Just make sure I can give you a good answer. But please drop them in the chat as you have them as we go through the class, and then I'll just go right back through the chat at the end and make sure I get all those questions. So if I don't answer right away, I'm not ignoring you, I promise. I will definitely get those answered for you. If you are watching this back on recording, you can always reach out to us with questions at support@scottleroymarketing.com, and we're happy to help out. I'm going to drop that email in the chat for everyone as well. That way you can email us as well. We also have a YouTube channel, which I'm dropping that link in the chat as well. Today's class recording will be on our YouTube channel in about 24 hours. And you'll be able to find it. When you go to our YouTube channel, it'll be up at the top of the videos tab. That being said, we do always recommend if you are looking for videos that you look through the videos tab, just because it is going to show those most recent videos up at the top. So it'll have our most recent videos, and then they'll get older the further down you scroll. Things are always changing, both with command and the services that we offer here at Scott Leroy Marketing. And so it does kind of vary, and the older videos may have some outdated information. Command is always changing there. That being said, if you are searching, just make sure you're paying attention to those dates. So, for example, we'll search for today's class. You'll see the first one that pops up here is 1 month ago, 2 years ago. So the first one on this search is actually fairly recent. However, it does switch it around, and so the most recent one is further down. It's the 13 days ago one, but the further down you scroll, um, you might find newer ones when you're searching. That's why we recommend the videos tab, just because it has all of the most recent ones up at the top. If you have questions or if you're not sure if you found the most recent video, you can always reach out to us via email as well. Our email is support@scottleroymarketing.com, and we are more than happy to help out find those videos for you or help provide guidance on some if there's something specific you're looking for. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and jump in. So today we are doing our command overview. I know some people just joined in. So we're going to start by going to agent.kw.com. So I'm going to drop that in the chat as well for you. So agent.kw.com, which is our command platform. When we are here, we'll see this sign in screen. So you'll enter your username and password. The username is not case sensitive, however, the password is. So I can change this and make this all lowercase if I'd like, all uppercase, does not matter. The password, it does. If you are copying and pasting your password from somewhere else, I do want to point out that you want to make sure if it has special characters that when you copy and paste, you grab all of the special characters. And sometimes it likes to add a space to the beginning or end when you are copying and pasting it from somewhere. So you can just click this I and make sure it doesn't have any additional spaces in there, as a space before or after will cause an error for signing in. So make sure you're entering that in. You can again always view this I icon right here to see what you have entered into your password field. Now we're going to sign in. If you are not sure of your password, you need to reset your password. You can just click Forgot Password down here. It'll send a code. It'll have you enter your username, and then it will have you send a code to your email. Once you enter that username, it'll send a code to your recovery email on file, and then you'll enter the recovery code and your new password, and it'll allow you to get it updated that way. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to click sign in. Looks like it's being Little slow. There we go. So when you sign in, whether it's for the first time on a new device, or when you change your recovery email, or maybe you've cleared your cache or something like that, it does generally send a verification code. It does sometimes send it even if it's not a new device or logging in for the first time, just to make sure other people aren't accessing your account without your permission. It'll send that email to your recovery email. Recovery email is going to be a personal non-KW email. I can show you where you can update it once you have access to your account. However, if you are locked out of your account because you cannot get this code and you cannot change your recovery email, you can always reach out to your Market Center staff. They can help update it on their end. You can also always reach out to us, and we'd be happy to see if we're able to change it on our end, or we can reach out to your Market Center staff on your behalf to help update that for you. So you can always reach out to us or your Market Center staff for that. We're going to go ahead and grab that code. Give me just a second. Grab it. And now once we are in command, this is going to be our command dashboard or home page. This can look a little bit different for different agents. So this is fairly customizable. Deletes never contacted, recently active, birthdays and anniversaries. Those four will stay the same across all accounts. Those cannot be moved or edited or changed around. So you will see all four of those at the top. But you can change around the order of these or what shows down here. Just click that customize button in the top right corner. Maybe we want to include our database health. Maybe we don't want to include most active contacts. And then we can drag and drop these around to wherever we'd like them to be. Click apply. It'll take a second. And then it'll go into effect and you will see it right there. So you can change this dashboard a little bit. So it may look a little different than mine. We're going to kind of make our way across the top and then we'll make our way down this side. So moving across the top, the first thing you will see is command, and that is where we are currently at. So we'll come back over to command in a little bit. Next is going to be connect, and connect is a resource library within command for you. So they have a bunch of videos and articles and things like that. They have some resources in here. So under Learning Home, you'll be able to see continue learning for any sort resources that you've started, maybe videos you've started watching or an article you've started reading. You'll see those under continue learning. You can scroll down and see some self-study courses that are available that you can check out, as well as any bookmarks you have and some more that you can discover. Up at the top, we can move over to My Learning, and we have three different categories. So we have your bookmarks. So when you go into a class, let's go to Ignite. So that's what we have here. When you're in one of these, you can click this bookmark button right here. So it'll look like that. I just removed the bookmark so you can see what it'll look like. But you'll just click Add Bookmark. That way you'll be able to find it easily again. And then under My Learning, you'll see the newest bookmarks up at the top. You can change those to filter by the title or the type or the category, but generally it will automatically filter by when it was last bookmarked. So you'll be able to find those at any time. Continue learning like we were just talking about. I do see a comment in the chat that someone's having a hard time hearing me and my microphone seems a little distorted. Is anyone else having that same issue? Want to make sure everyone can hear me. It's clear there. Thank you, Brian, for confirming that. Alrighty. Awesome. Dawn, it might be a problem. Trying to think what, okay, perfect. I'll let you in just a second then. Alrighty. So under the continue learning, you'll find ones that you've started and haven't finished yet. So you'll be able to come back. If you're anything like me, you may start watching it, leave for something else, and then forget to come back to it or forget what it was called. So if you come to the continue learning, you'll be able to find it here, as well as completed learning. These are ones that you have finished watching entirely, and you'll be able to find those there. You also have Browse All. And under Browse All, you're going to have a bunch of different categories. I'm going to zoom out a little bit because it's really zoomed in on my end. But you'll be able to see all these different categories through here. Classified, there we go. So there's a bunch of different options for trainings, they're broken down by groups. Welcome back, Dawn. Hopefully that helped clear up the issue for you. But yeah, so in here you'll be able to find a bunch of resources. You can search up here. This will search all of Connect. If you use this search, it's going to search what you're seeing right here. So we can say, for example, I want to show you how to find your KW logos. So if I'm searching under this, I'm going to search for new associate, and then it should pull up our new associate tab. And then we'll just click new associate essentials and give it a second to load. Through here, you'll see a bunch of different options. So the red label store, as well as logos and branding, profit share, benefits. We want to check out this logos and branding tab. So once we come here, you'll see some brand resources. So the KW Identity and Style Guide, that's going to help you see the Keller Williams guidelines in order to view for marketing, advertising, things like that. The ownership statement, the onboarding guide, the primary logo collection. So the primary logos are going to be just the Keller Williams primary logos. They're not going to be your Market Center logos. In this collection, we'll find those a little bit further down this page. But the primary logo collection is just going to be the Keller Williams logos. Scrolling down, you'll see the Market Center logos right here. I'm going to open that up in a new tab. Give it a second to load. So it's going to actually be a Google spreadsheet, and you'll be able to find your Market Center number or your Market Center name, and then the preview link if you want to preview the logos, or if you want to download the file right here. Downloading the file will download a bunch of different options for you. So there will be some different color variations as well as file types, whether you need PNG or JPEG or EPS, I believe it's called. You'll be able to have those in that link. So we'll go ahead and go back here. Scrolling further down, you'll also see a bunch of other Keller Williams primary logo variations. So some primary logos, the primary logos that include the word realty or say real estate, just the informal logos, things like that. So there's a bunch of different options depending on what you need. So you'll be able to go find all of those through there. We're going to come back over to our command. So we are still in Connect. We'll go back to our learning home. So we're in a familiar space. So we're under Connect, learning home. The next thing we want to check out is this calendar on the left-hand side under the learning tab. And this is going to be our calendar events. So this will be for market centers that you are a part of. You can filter them on the right-hand side by the market center. You likely don't have as many market centers in a list as we do. This is a demo account, but you'll be able to find your market center so you can choose whether you want to see market center events or regional events or all KW regions or all KWRI events. So you'll be able to see those through here. And then there's also options for filtering by the event type, the price, date, format, audience, things like that. I do want to point out I get a lot of questions on this one where you might not be seeing them. Not all market centers enter their events in here. So it depends on your market center. I do see a question, what does RI mean? So I said KWRI. That's just the formal name for KWRI. Keller Williams Realty International, I believe is what it is. So KW, KWRI, they are the same thing. Sorry, I was not trying to be confusing on that. But yeah, so I do get a lot of questions that people aren't seeing any events here. Your market center may not use it. So if you're not seeing events here or there's events you know are coming up that you aren't seeing here, feel free to reach out to your market center staff as they may have a they may have another calendar that they're using or things like that. So that is our connect. We're going to go back over to our command. So then the next thing you'll see on my screen that you likely don't see on yours is Command MC. That's for Market Center staff, Market Center leadership. So you may not see this. We're not actually going to jump into this because most agents aren't going to have this option on their screen. If you are Market Center staff and you have any questions about Command MC, please reach out to us. Again, our email is support@scottleroymarketing.com. We're happy to help out as well. Don't really have the time to jump into it today, but we're definitely happy to help out. Next, along the top, you see KWIQ. That is going to be Keller Williams AI chatbot, or Quick, if you want to call it that. So this has a bunch of questions that you can ask. There's a bunch of prompts in here, but you can ask this any questions you have about real estate or about command or anything like that. You're able to ask those questions here. Keep in mind it is AI, so responses should always be reviewed for the accuracy, but it is definitely a helpful resource should you need a quick answer, pun intended. You'll be able to ask that here. You can also view the history of questions you've already asked it if you need to go back and find it through there. Next, we have the marketplace, which is this little storefront along the top. So we'll click on that. So Command was built by agents for agents. And with that, they wanted to make Command integrate with everything. Took a minute to load there. They wanted Command to be able to integrate with a lot of the third-party platforms that agents are using. And they wanted to make it more convenient for everyone to access and integrate those with their command or transfer data over or things like that. So the KW Marketplace has a lot of those integrations that you can add to your command. So things like Twilio, which is a texting service that a lot of agents like to use, integrates with command so that you can text people through command. And we'll see that in a couple other places as well. So there's a bunch of options in here, so feel free to look around, as well as some vendors and then some discounts and things like that. Back to the dashboard, the next we have is this notification bell, and that is going to be all of our notifications. So if we get our notifications, so if we get a lead from our website, for example, you'll see that populate here, things like that, even KW announcements like you'll see right here. But there's a bunch of notifications through here. You can filter by the application through here. So if you want it to be by different applets, so we can say we want to see just the KW announcements. We want to see campaigns or things like that. We can do it through here. And that'll filter it for us. Once we mark it as red, so we can mark all of them as red or individual ones as red. Once we have those marked as red, we'll be able to view those notifications under this red tab for up to 90 days. So you'll be able to view those there as well. We're able to adjust our settings. Just click this cogwheel up at the top. Give it a second to load, but you'll see it broken down by application. So again, these are broken down by what applets you have access to. So if you are Market Center staff, you'll see a few more, like the Associates tab that you'll see on my screen. So if you are not Market Center staff, you don't have Command MC access, you may see some fewer options through here. If you're a Team Rainmaker, you may see more. So it varies on what your account settings are, but you can just click on the applet you would like to change the settings for. So maybe under opportunities, then we can choose whether we see them desktop in-app only, mobile in-app, mobile push notifications, or we want to see all of them across the board. we have those options as well. So then once we do all of that, we'll just click Save down at the bottom, and those changes are saved. We're going to go back to our home real quick. So the next we want to take a look at is this drop-down menu under our name. So the drop-down menu under our name, the first two things you'll see are your account versus your team account if you are on a team. If you're not on a team, you aren't going to see a second account down here. If you're on a team, you'll be able to just click your team account or your personal account and switch between the two. Next, you have My Profile, which is going to be your internal profile. So it'll have more of the information internally that you would be seeing. So up here in the top right corner, one thing you'll want to pay attention to is this display my profile on kw.com. If you want people to be able to find you um, through the notifications, sorry, I read a comment, that's not the right word. I will circle back to some of these questions at the end. I do see them coming in. Feel free to keep dropping them in the chat. But yeah, so if you want your information to be displayed on kw.com or the KW consumer app. You'd want to make sure this is toggled on. Once you toggle that on, changes can take up to 72 hours to populate to the consumer app. I believe it's about 48 to populate to the KW website. So you can definitely toggle that on. Might not go into effect immediately. Give it up to 72 hours. If you're still not seeing it, you can always reach out to us and we're happy to help troubleshoot further on that. But seeing down here, you'll see more of that internal information. So this is going to display for your Market Center staff to see. It'll display on your referrals. Your referrals profile they used to have referrals profile separate, but they integrated it in here now. So you will be able to update what other agents see through here. So scrolling on down, real estate license. If you do not have a real estate license here, and you are a licensed agent, you will want to reach out to your Market Center staff because they will need to get that added on the back end of the system. Same goes for if you are seeing the incorrect number, an incorrect expiration date, or state, or something like that. You'd want to reach out to your Market Center staff because that one does need to be updated on their end. There are a couple, like two or three other things in these profiles that you'll see would need to be updated by your Market Center staff. But for the most part, most changes can be made on your end. So moving down the left-hand side, the next section is My KW. And under here, this is where you will be able to change your KW email or set it up and then create email aliases, rather. You'll see your KW start date, login credentials, so username, password, and your password recovery email. You'll be able to change those just clicking the edit button. So the password recovery email is what we saw when we came in. So it sent a verification code over to our email when we were first signing in. It would do the same thing if we were resetting our password. It does need to be a personal non-KW email. So you want to make sure that needs to be specific to you. It can't be used across multiple accounts. So it needs to be all yours, but you'll be able to edit that here. If you are locked out of your account, or you can't update it, just reach out to your Market Center staff and they can help update that on their end for you. Moving down, you have some of your personal information. So this one is especially your internal profile. It's also called your KW profile of record. So if you're seeing that on answers.kw.com, where it says your profile of record, this is what they would be talking about. But you'll be able to see your personal information here. This KW Communications email is one that we want to make sure we have access to. So any official KW communications are going to go to this email right here, as well as if you have, if you're doing a contact export through your contacts applet and command, it will send a link to this email. We'll circle back on that when we get to the contacts applet. And then you have your other information through here. Moving down the left-hand side again, you have your affiliations. So again, this is the demo account, so you see a lot of different market centers in here. Most of you will only see one, maybe two market centers under the My Affiliations. Um, we'll also see our MLS affiliations here. So if you are not seeing the MLS listings tab or the information under that tab is incorrect, that is something that does need to be adjusted on your market center's side. So they can add that, and it will allow you to have listings added to your listings applet, um, syncing them well with opportunities and things like that, adding featured listings to your website. So there's a bunch of good reasons why you would want an MLS ID in the back end here. And then under these, this will be your market centers. So you just click on one. If you see unlicensed associate on your end, that means that you do not have a license entered on the back end. You haven't been activated as an agent. So you would need to reach out to your market center staff to have them update that license information in order to show agent on here. But once you are put in as an agent, you'll also see your cap information here. So you'll see a graphic that shows where you're at in your cap, what percentage you have there as well. Coming back to the command home, take a minute to load. Wants to go slow today. There we go. So under the drop-down menu, moving right along, the next we have is our settings menu. I'm actually going to open that in a new tab so that hopefully it won't have to refresh that dashboard again. And now it's trying to refresh the settings. There we go. So through here, you're going to automatically see your applications. So connected apps like DocuSign and Dotloop. That's where you would connect them or create your KW DocuSign account. And you'll be able to connect your social media for post scheduling through here. Connecting your Google Calendar and your Gmail if you want to automatically sync those with your command. As well as your command email subscriptions, you'll be able to manage that here. And then your Twilio account. Again, you would have to pay for the subscription. You'd have to subscribe in the KW Marketplace, but they do have a quick link to access it right here that you can go through there. You'll also see some other settings down through here. So general settings, the notification preferences, that's what we were just looking at when we clicked the notification bell and the settings wheel up top. Next, under command settings, we have different settings for each of the applets. So contacts, so we can see our contact archive, contact tags, lead management, opportunity settings, we can set up that email update, see our opportunity archive, reporting, campaigns, smart plans, tasks. And then under My Logs, you'll see logs for your imports and exports. So if something fails with either an import or an export, you'll be able to see the log for that and see why it may have failed, especially for imports. Moving down, connect settings, it says marketing profile. Well, right now it doesn't say anything. But under the marketing profile, it actually got moved to the website's applet, which there we go. Now it's showing. So we'll show you how to access that. There's a quick link here, but we can go through the website's applet in a little bit. You can update language settings and contact settings here. And then once again, we have Command MC, which we are not going to jump into just because most of you will not have access to that or need access to it. Next, you would see Command Training, which is going to bring you to some different trainings on Command that you can take a look at as well. And then next, we have the question mark in the top right corner. So the first thing is going to be guided tours if you need to take a more guided tour on some of the different topics in here. Keller Williams University is going to take you to answers.kw.com, which you can also go to directly. They have a bunch of articles that walk you through how to do just about anything and everything in Command, updating websites, creating pages on your website, and things like that. Next, we have Chat with Support. That's going to bring you to a live chat with a KW support rep, and they'll be able to help you out live via chat. And then under Post an Idea, this would take us to ideas.kw.com. I'm actually going to open that, but if you remember earlier, I said Command was built by agents for agents. It wants to go slow. Command's having a sleepy Monday morning. But yeah, it was built by agents for agents, and basically this is going to be the KW Ideas platform. So you can go here. It's not loading, so we'll just explain what happens there. There's not too much to walk you through on there anyway. But ideas.kw.com is where you can search for other ideas. You can submit an idea that KW can review, and then implement. So if there's a feature that you want added to Command, I'd go to ideas.kw.com or go to this button right here that says post an idea. And you can post an idea, search and see if other agents have posted the same idea, vote on it from there. So yeah, so that's how you would do that. Now that we are back to our homepage, we're going to do a quick walk through all of these applets on the left-hand side. I am going to say I know I'm going fast, and I'm going to go really fast through these different applets here. We do have classes on every single one of them, so if you want more in-depth, I'd recommend checking those out on our YouTube channel. But I'm going to give you a quick overview of each of them, and we'll go through. So if you hover over them, you will see the name pop out, so you can see what each is. But you can also click this red square with the white KW in it, and it will show you all of the different applets, and you can get an idea of what they are, so you can grow more familiar with what each is. So the first thing we're going to look at is our contacts applet, and this is going to be our database that we can enter in new contacts, we can import them, things like that. So this is how we would be able to reach out to them via email through Command or text them if they have a phone number, and we have Twilio. So this is a great option that we can have all of our contacts in here. So if you click these three dots, we'll just kind of work our way around here. The three dots, you'll be able to check for duplicates, export all of the owned contacts. And if you remember, I mentioned when we were looking at the My Profile, we saw the KW Communications email. So when we export our contacts, it is going to send a link over to our KW Communications email. We'll be able to click that link and it will download the file for us directly. It's just an added step of security so that you know you're getting the contacts for yourself, and they're not accidentally being sent somewhere else. So you'll be able to export those contacts as well as mailing labels right here. Importing contacts, you'll be able to download a template. The template is super helpful. So importing contacts can be a little finicky, mainly because with column mapping, they want to make sure that they get all of the information from the file in there. So if some of the information doesn't match the fields that you have in the contacts, it's going to be harder for it to upload through here. So you can upload custom files through here. You'll just have to do a little more work for this. The template is a little more work up front, whereas uploading a custom file is a little more work through the entire process. We are also happy to help out with this. This is one of the things that we help out with. Importing contacts for you. You can send us a CSV or Excel file, and we can reformat it to this template and then upload it for you, to save you some steps there. So we can do that work up front for you. Next, we also have the Create Contact button. So we would be able to go through and enter in our contact through here. So the full name. The name is the only required field, so you'll be able to enter in their name, Really, a first name is the only requirement. It needs to have something in the name field. Um, so you can go through and you can add a relationship that'll link those contacts together. So you'll be able to navigate to each. So we'll just say, no, okay, we'll go with that one. Um, we can choose the relationship here. So there's a bunch of different options in here. Um, we'll just say business partner. Um, Primary email, we can enter in an email address for them here. Phone number, lead source, we'll be able to select whether they're from our contacts or from a list. We can mark it as lead here as well. Tags, we can add as many tags as we want. We can add a bunch of different tags. Tags are just a way that we can group our contacts together. So we'll be able to go through and filter for these contacts. Additional contact information. So we can enter in additional email addresses, phone numbers. We can enter in their addresses through here, as well as the About section where we can enter their legal name, description, birthday, home anniversary. There's another field to enter the relationship here, as well as their company information. And then custom fields, this is where the fun is for me. But this is where you can enter in more fun facts you know about them, or things that would help your business. So, for example, you can enter in their favorite sports team or their kids' names, to help you out with the conversation so that you don't have to um, keep all of that information stored away in your brain. You can use this so that you know. You can add custom fields through here, so you can create your own. You can find one that you've already created through here. So there's a bunch of options you can do through there. And then we'll just say create contact. And then through here, you'll be able to edit the contact. You can click the three dots and you can add them to a smart plan, change the account, or archive it. I do see a question, how do we delete contacts? They would need to be archived first. So here's where you would archive them individually. I'll also show you when we get back out to the contacts applet, how you can do it in bulk. So um, that's where you would edit, or you can click the three dots, do any of those options. You'll be able to scroll through and find all of that information through here. And remember how I said the relationships would hyperlink the contacts together. You'll be able to click this and it'll take us to this contact that we have for test person. So it'll bring us over there directly. On the right-hand side, you'll see a timeline. So once you start adding activities to it, whether you send a text or an email, or you add them to an opportunity or a smart plan, you'll see those populate right here. Under opportunities, you will see any opportunities that have been linked to this contact, smart plans, tasks, notes, saved searches as well. So we'll go back to the contacts applet. We have a bunch of filter options. This is one of my favorite things with Command is that there is always, pretty much always going to be an option to filter so that you can find what you're looking for. So they have a lot of filters. You can go through and you can filter by tags and only show contacts with those tags. You can choose multiple tags. Lead source. I'm just going to collapse these and you can see all of the options we have through here. So there's a bunch of options in here: birthday, home anniversary, company, primary address, email, things like that. As well as there's also advanced filtering. So you can say, for example, I want to filter my contacts where the tags include this tag, but they exclude a different tag. Or actually, we'll say, yeah, we'll go with that one. Tags, and then we can just drop this and say excludes any that have a tag that says, I'm gonna just grab one of those, that one. And then you would just say apply, and you would see those go into effect, and you would see only contacts that have the class demo tag but are missing that other tag through there. Through here, you also have the option to select multiple contacts. You can select all of them, or you can just pick and choose the ones that you want. And you'll be able to go through and clear that selection, add a tag to all of them so you can tag them in bulk, add them to a smart plan, add a note, send an email, and then archive, like I showed on individual contact, you'll be able to archive them here. And then more options, you have some more things you can do with all of those contacts at the same time. So moving along, next we have the tasks applet, and it's pretty self-explanatory. It's basically a built-in checklist, so you can keep what you have to do straight and know what to do when. Um, so you can go through, you can view any of your completed tasks or any archived tasks through here. Like always, there's some filter options. So we can filter by the due date, the repeating tasks, priority level, task type, if it's linked to a contact. There's a bunch of options in here that we can filter those by. We can select a task to say, we can reschedule it, change the priority, or archive it, or we can mark it as complete, and we'll see those marked as complete over there under the completed tab. So we'll see it appear right there. Next, we have the Smart Plans applet, and these are kind of a set it and forget it type plan. So you can send emails out automatically to contacts. You can have it text them if you have Twilio connected, or you can have it create tasks for you in that tasks applet for the contact so that you know what to do next. So you can look at your smart plans. You can create custom smart plans. There's also a bunch of smart plans in the smart plans library from other places. Keller Williams has 10 that they have created that agents can use. So you can scroll through and find those. For example, I want to point out specifically the birthday and the home anniversary smart plans. So the birthday and home anniversary smart plans are the only smart plans that are actually properly formulated, properly set up in order to actually email your contacts on their birthday based off the birthday that's in the contact applet. So if you are looking for a birthday or home anniversary smart plan, highly recommend you look for the Keller Williams ones, some of the other ones that you may find published in here. We've seen people send them out and then they're like, oh no, it's sent to all of my contacts on day one instead of on their birthday. So we don't want that to happen, so we highly recommend the KW birthday or home anniversary smart plans if you want it to be sent on the date itself, um, as well as it saves you having to figure out whole leap year and leap day, things like that, to make sure they're spaced out properly. So highly recommend checking those out. Next, we have the referrals applet, and this is where you can send and receive referrals in command. So you can send them to other KW agents through here. So you'll be able to, on your dashboard, see an overview of the referrals and your network. If you go to My Referrals, you'll see any that are sent or received. Under the map, you'll be able to zoom in. Trying to find, we'll go here. So the further you zoom in, once you zoom in far enough, you'll see results start to populate on the right-hand side. And this is filtered by production. So any agents that have sold properties in this area in the past 12 months, we're going to see populate under this tab right here. So if you're a newer agent and you're looking for yourself, what you'll want to do is click this drop-down menu and switch over to market centers. And that'll show you all of the market centers in the area that you are zoomed into and all of the agents in those market centers, regardless of production. Next, you can click My Network to see people who are already in your network and see where your referral partners are. Or you can go to Referral Patterns and you can see where referrals are coming and going from and to. So ours automatically set it to Austin, Texas, but we can change this. So let's see here, we were just looking at Oklahoma City, so we'll keep that for the sake of consistency. But we'll be able to see this is currently showing the sent referrals. So currently the referrals that are coming from Oklahoma City are generally going to Tulsa, There's a few Oklahoma. They're broken down by production or percentage of referrals coming out of there. So you have some in Oklahoma, some in Arkansas, Texas, things like that. So you'll be able to find those through there. You can also do the same thing for received referrals and see where those referrals are coming from when they come to Oklahoma City. So that'll help you find maybe where you need to have some referral partners. Maybe we see a lot of them are coming from other places in Oklahoma, so we can go see, some referral partners in there, as well as Colorado, Kansas, Texas, and Florida. We can maybe go find some referral partners there. You can go to My Network and see all of the agents in your network through here. So any that you've accepted an invitation to or have sent an invitation to and they've accepted from there, you'll be able to see those. Next, we have the Opportunities Applet, and the Opportunities Applet is going to be where you do those transactions. So from start to finish, you'll enter them in here. You'll submit your documents for compliance for your market center. You'll make a transaction request or commission request, rather. To be paid by your market center. So this is where you would go enter those. We do have a couple classes actually that cover this, so I would highly recommend checking those out, especially our opportunities and sales pipeline and our DocuSign 101. Those two go hand in hand and they'll walk you through the whole process from start to finish of an opportunity, and you'll be able to go check those out. Running out of time over here. But there's a bunch of options. Listings, buyers, leases. So you can see them where they're at, just kind of in a graphic view. Or you can view all of your opportunities all together, unless yours is saying something went wrong, like mine. Next, we have the Campaigns applet. I'm gonna refresh and hope it works for me. There we go. So this is where we can create paid ads, email campaigns, direct mail campaigns, or social post campaigns. So paid ads we can do on our social media platform. You'll be able to go through Facebook and Instagram, as well as you can do some Google ads and TikTok ads as well. Next, there's emails. So you can send out email campaigns to your database. Direct mail campaigns, so you can send out postcards to your either to your database, or you can do by location and send those out through there. And then social post campaigns as well, so you can go ahead and schedule it out to post to your social media. So you can schedule it and then don't have to worry about thinking of something to post at another later time. Reports, this is going to show a lot of reports. So you'll see different options in here. So you used to go find reports from mykw.kw.com. Those were recently transitioned over here to the Reports applet. But for example, if you want to see email reports and see the statistics on the emails you've sent out, you'll be able to see those broken down by the applet the email was sent from, as well as the delivery and engagement. So you'll be able to see color-coded based off of up here, delivered, undelivered, opened, clicked, replied, or unsubscribed. And you'll be able to view the details if you want to see, for example, who unsubscribed and what email they unsubscribed from, things like that. You'll be able to see it through there, as well as how you're looking, whether people have been marking you as spam or not. You can see those through there as well. Next, you have the Designs applet, and this is where you can create some designs. So you can create email designs to be able to send out through smart plans or email campaigns. You can create social posts, or you can create postcards or things like that that you can send out through here. Next, we have the Listings applet, and you'll be able to see it through here. So you can create internal listings, or you can sync your MLS here as well and see those listings here. And then finally, we have the Websites applet. So this is where you would go to edit your KW website. You would click Manage Website right here. There's some additional pages. You'll be able to view the pages that you have right here. And then you can create quick pages right here add some blog posts, design studio. Um, if you go to the expert mode, you'll actually be able to view a lot more of the back end information. So you'll have full access for your pages, settings, controls, things like that. And you'll get a good preview of your website right here. Under the settings, if you go to manage settings, this is going to actually be your marketing profile. So the marketing profile is more of your external profile. In the very beginning, we talked about your internal profile. This one is going to be what shows on your marketing that you create through command. So whether you create a design, you create a social post campaign, or a direct mail campaign or things like that. This is the information that's going to show on that, as well as your website and your consumer app. You'll see this information there. Um, Anything with an asterisk is a required field, so you'll be able to go through and edit those. Once you update the information on each page, you'll need to save before moving to the next page. Under my photo, this one I do want to point out this recommended size 360 by 360 pixels. Highly recommend you stick to the recommended size. If it's bigger or not a perfect square, it does sometimes stretch funny or cut off your head, and that kind of defeats the purpose of a headshot. So you want to make sure you have it 360 by 360 pixels so that you can then show the whole photo there. Team logo, not a required field. However, you would want to stick to that 360 by 360 pixels as well. My details, so you'll have your first name and last name are required. Your license number is not required, but it is strongly recommended, especially if you are sending out email campaigns. You may see an error saying that your license number wasn't added, and so the merge tag didn't fill out. So you want to make sure you have your license number here, if possible. Preferences, you'll be able to set your Keller home loans, Keller covered, and neighborhoods if you want those to display on your site or not. Service areas, you'll be able to set those up here. You can draw boundaries and things like that. Mine doesn't really want to load right now, but we do have a tip video that covers how you can do that on our YouTube channel, how you can select your service areas. Legal footer and compliance, if there's anything, if you're in an area that has some specific compliance requirements, for example, Texas, you can see on ours, there's some specific things like an IABS form or CPN. So if you need to add those, then you would be able to add the link right here. You can add some text down here as well. Social media, you can link those through here so that people can access those directly from your website. They'll have a link that takes them to it. When you are filling these out, they're not required. However, we do strongly recommend that you put them in here. And when you do, make sure you enter the full URL and not just your username or handle. To do that. Referral links, this is where you'll find your KW consumer app URL. So you can have consumers download that app directly. It'll be branded to you. As well as if you're on a team, you'll have those referral links through here. Forced registration, you can choose how many properties visitors to your site are able to view before they're required to register or sign in. So you can do up to 10 properties or unrestricted, and you can do as few as no properties at all. So you have some options through there. And then finally, your My Subdomain, you'll be able to change your KW site subdomain and change that if you would like to. Then you would just click Claim Subdomain and it would go into effect immediately. You do also have the button to deactivate your site here. Strongly recommend you not deactivate your site unless you are absolutely sure, because if you do deactivate your site, you will not be able to get the pages you've already created back. You would have to start from scratch. So do strongly recommend you are doubly sure if you are deactivating your site, because once you do that, you cannot undo that. So that is our command overview. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording and we can get to some of these questions I'm seeing in the chat. If you have questions, please go ahead and drop them in the chat so I can get to those. If you're not sticking around for questions, thank you for joining me. Hope you have a fantastic week.